Blessed, blessed, blessed. I wanted to tap in this morning and, shed some light on some things and have a real good discussion about accountability. When do you hold someone accountable for the things that they do and say? Shout out to this brother, Jeff St. James. I've had my my management, Brother Muhammad and Sir Sammy Parks, reach out to him. I like to go on his show. So we're working on that right now. Go to the website, trucknationathletics.com. It's here. Truck Nation is here. The merchandise is here. Go get it. We got T-shirts. We got the leggings. Pretty soon we're going to have the sports bras. We're going to have the hats. We're going to have the water bottles. It's going to be a real cool, awesome, amazing summer. But we're going to tap into this panel here that Jeff St. James is hosting, and the guests that are on his panel are, my homegirl Dee, she's a good friend of mine, and a few other guests are going to share their thoughts, and we're going to have an adult conversation, and we're going to tap into it. So without further ado, grab your shoulder pads and your helmet. I'm also live on Facebook. I'm live on YouTube and also live on Rumble. Grab your shoulder pads and your helmet and let's get this work. Let's go.
Somebody say Dr. Bryant. It irks me. Where's her colleagues? Where's she a doctor at? Because I've done the research.
And it was what?
I don't see doctor nowhere. If somebody is a doctor, they will be proud to show you, I'm a doctor. Mm-hmm. She can't do it. She just says it. This is a fantasy that woman is living. I mean, you don't see everybody to see you, Sister Bryant. We know it's a girl you call your bodyguard, but we know it's more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in the streets.
My favorite photo of her. She's got every accolade. She's got every certificate of perfect attendance of everything she's ever earned behind her head. And you see what we don't see there? A diploma. See, your diploma would generally go right there back behind your head so that it can be easily visible and readable. She's got magazine articles. She's got little Kinko's print off award trophies. She got everything but a diploma because
I remember covering this, and I remember the first time that, this came up about, I placed a phone call because I'm from Long Beach. Okay? I'm from the hood. Everybody know everybody. Okay? And the feedback that I got, oh yeah, her. Okay, now it makes sense. She from the block. I'm talking about back when they had the Long Beach Mall. I'm talking about back when they had Shoreline Village and they had the little trolley that would take you from the mall to Shoreline Village and back. I'm talking about when we were freestyling in front of the arcade. You feel me? So I'm like this. Be who you are. We know who you are. I know who you are. Okay? I know the places where you used to dance at. I got family that live in LA. You don't have to fake to get views, to get publicity, to score all these high points with individuals and increased audience. You can do all of that by being your authentic self. But let's continue to feast. It gets better.
instead of getting her diploma, she decided to get a trait.
About your doctorate because people can't find your dissertation online.
Mm-hmm.
How are you responding to that in this new era of your life?
I'm going to clear it up.
Now she's about to drop the F-bomb, giving you heads up. But we're going somewhere with this. We got to have a conversation. We have to have an adult conversation. When is it appropriate to hold someone accountable for the things that they do and say? Now, I work with law enforcement, so therefore, I've been trained. Watch facial micros. Watch body language. Watch how she constantly blinks her eyes. Watch how she fumbles her word like a running back. Let's continue.
Once on here, I'm not doing it again. And I'm clearing it up for my doc squad, for my fan base, for my audience who deserve to hear me address it. For the folks who have already made up their mind to not like me or not understand me, listen, I don't give a fuck what your narrative is. I would like for you to recreate it, double down on it, and run that shit. Because I don't give a fuck about it. Now, to my doc squad, my fan base, my folks, you know, my village, it's very simple. I went to a school, Argosy University, completed an entire program. I went back online to get my official transcripts because I was applying to a law school many years ago to be a professor there. And I had to provide my transcripts, right, to get hired. And I went to contact the school and say, hey, I need my official transcripts. I need my entire thing. And there was no school. I was like, okay, I'm confused. I Google. It says this school has been shut down. I said, oh, well, they got to have records. I mean, they were accredited when I attended the school. They were accredited when I finished the program. I go and look, there is a third party that has the records. Why I contact the third party? That third party only holds records for 2 years. I was past my 2 years. So that means that I had no access to records. And then I contacted, financial aid. You can't make up financial aid. It shows that I paid for a doctor.
The Breakfast Club interview, and she kind of messed up.
I went to contact the school and say, hey, I need my official transcripts. I need my entire thing. And there was no school. There is a third party that has the records. Why I contact the third party? That third party only holds records for 2 years.
So now I go to Google and I ask Google to get your records from the closed Argosy University. You should order transcripts.
Listening to what she's saying is already a red flag, right? It's like those that did their diligence in their research, I tip my hat off to you. Much love and respect for taking the time to do your research, for taking the time to really, really dive in deep. Like I always tell people, you have to look into things instead of looking at things. If something is not making sense to you, something doesn't feel right, you have the right to investigate it. And the beautiful souls of men and women exercised that right and researched it. And the things that they've discovered upon research were shocking.
Transcripts and diplomas online through Parchment, right? So now Parchment is the third party company that she's speaking on. Let's go back to what she said.
Why I contact the third party? That third party only holds records for 2 years.
So she said that third party only holds records for 2 years. How long does Parchment hold on to transcripts from Argosy University? So Parchment generally maintains access to digital records for closed institutions like Argosy University, often holding them for decades or indefinitely. This guy, ended up on my feed. His name is Dr. Dennis Winkler.
So today, May the 13th, 2026, is that today? I went ahead and I paid to see what if I could get my transcript and how long it would take.
Purchased his transcript 2 days ago, which is way past the 2-year mark that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant spoke on.
I received
Facts.
a receipt, website that everybody was talking about, Parchment Team. It then took me through a process to verify my email. Then it says access transcripts.
So basically, he got access to his transcripts within minutes.
Earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anyone.
Like I highlighted before, financial aid has nothing to do with your transcripts. That's admissions. Financial aid has something to do with money, has nothing to do with your transcripts. That right there is admissions. Last time I checked, that's the way it's supposed to go, supposed to be. But listening to her further, her stories crisscross each other. Her stories crisscross each other. Facial micros, body language, constantly blinking of the eyes. All those are red flags. In law enforcement, all those are signs of deception. Okay, you're lying. Let's continue.
My obedience is to God, not to people. And so as long as I'm in his will and I'm serving and I'm doing his, his word, my sheep will know my voice. Even the sheep in wolf clothing. That is not my battle.
But
That's
with the
his.
questions that are out there, why not provide the proof of your...
Another thing I cannot stand is when a person sit up there and use God's word and they know they wrong for doing what they do. That's not cool at all. Maybe that's why Amazon is refunding people back Cheyenne Bryant's book. They asking for a refund because you're not who you say you are. Okay? And that ties in to this discussion, because this is why I chose to go live with it and live stream it and so forth, because it needs to be addressed. Like I said, I'm from Long Beach. Long Beach to the 12th power, the 12th of never. I'm from the hood. I see people like this all the time. People that I rode with in Long Beach, we come across cats like this all the time. They speak like this. Real fancy and glossy with the words. But if you sit back and you really listen and pay attention, they rocking rhymes, but they ain't saying nothing.
degree? Why not?
Well, a couple of things, right? I have multiple degrees, and my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles, it's in how effective I've been. All of my sessions have been live, for the most part. My sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone, they have all been for the world to see, right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my sessions that were live. And they deemed it, as well as I did before they did it, they can't validate me, I validated myself, they deemed it as my work being effective. I am effective at what I do. I'm educated and I'm successful in my lane, and I'll land on this. I created
An educated fool that has a problem with men. I bet. Like I said, Cheyenne Bryant, I know you. I know people that know you. I went to West LA too. I went to Long Beach City too.
my own lane. And so a lot of times, Marissa, when people see that you created something that maybe they couldn't, admiration turns into envy. And you got to be okay. And you got to be okay with that in that
as an
space.
attack. But I think, and I've gotten this question from many viewers, and I owe it to them.
You
in
do.
Service to
Absolutely.
them. Why not drop doctor from your name if you cannot bring forth that doctoral degree?
So I've already covered this, right? And we're here obviously to talk about my new book. So I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees.
You didn't earn the title. You paid to have it patented. That's what you did. You paid to have the name patent as doctor. Look, to those that earned the name doctor, therapists, psychologists, I tip my hat off to you. Much love and respect. That's a slap in y'all's face. Y'all were the ones that did the studying, took the tests, graduated. Y'all earned the right to have doctor before your name. She doesn't. She didn't earn that. She purchased that.
And I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. When I said I worked under a license, see, all of this is terminology. The people would open up their ears and do what school teaches therapists to do. I'm not a therapist, but...
Tell the audience out there where you first got your start.
As far as like a therapist, I started off as a marriage, family, and child therapist about 18 years ago. Before I obtained my doctorate degree in counseling psychology.
Why would you take advice from an individual that has never been married, but give you advice on marriage? Why take advice from an individual who has no children, but give you advice about children? Help me make it make sense. Your boy, Big Truck, cannot be making this ish up. Run till that. Let's continue to feast.
Once I became a doctor of psychology, I transitioned from a therapist to a psychology expert in private practice. And the group of licensed professionals who have an issue with this, they teach you all something called active listening. None of y'all seem to be actively listening. Working under a license.
I was up till 4 a.m. watching interviews of this nigga. When I open this motherfucking laptop, it's lit. hey, this ain't off the dome.
License doesn't necessarily mean you're incompetent. It could be licensed or unlicensed. That's the real question, because the girls are running a tizzy. Dr. Shonda, I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I own a private practice. I'm a global speaker and a podcast. Literally spent 11 years of my life pursuing 4 degrees in psychology, postdoctoral fellowship at Johns Hopkins, acquired 3,000 supervised hours of training in order to go to a licensure. That was a lot, but it's out the way. As a licensed psychologist, I do want to add some nuance to the conversation. Believe it or not, there are some legitimate reasons why people choose not to do so. Before we get into the legitimate reasons, I just want to focus on the illegitimate reasons that we've heard so far. We heard that people only get licensed to bill insurance. That is not true. As a licensed girly who started a private practice about 3 or 4 years ago, my first 2 years in private practice, I was not accepting any type of insurance. I only accepted private pay. Working with insurance companies can be extremely complicated. You're waiting 2 to 3 weeks for services you did a while ago. This is a systemic issue with insurance companies. A lot of them have low reimbursement rates. To make it accessible, I would then do like a pay what you can type of program that I had my students facilitate. Something to make it more affordable, but to bypass the insurance company. There was also a statement about being less restricted when you're unlicensed.
So here is where you hear different individuals sharing their opinions that have experience. They did the homework. Okay. And before I continue, shout out to Ethiopian black seed oil. Shout out to moringa. Shout out to MSM powder. Shout out to ashwagandha. Shout out to moringa. And shout out to maca. I make myself a little drink with some fruit juice or juicing period to have those nice vitamins, to have those minerals, to have those items in my system that helps the body. It's all about living a healthy life. We got to continue to live our best life healthy, keep our mental health, keep everything intact, exercise, eat right, diet right, get your spiritual life right. That is what it's all about. Okay? I just want to throw that out there and food for thought. Let's continue to feast.
Am I restricted because I have a license? Yes. And you should be, because that's how you protect your clientele. Like, I can't pod about what my clients talked about for today. Before I get into the legitimate reasons, let's be clear. Referring to yourself as a therapist, a psychologist without a license is unethical.
Stated on a video that like you should be hitting with Torre on their platform. And there's also the aspect of the level of platforms. And I think there has to be some accountability for us as a people and the individuals who are booking these individuals, because you have to understand how much individuals listen to those platforms. So the fact that she was able to be on a show with Torre, who is like one of the phenoms when it comes to journalism. And I know the Joe Budden podcast is still entertainment. You're on there and you provide a lot of credibility to that show, which is, one of the many reasons why it's very incredibly helpful. But just talking about having individuals on those stages, she literally stated on the Touré show, you should be hitting your children. That goes against every single research aspect when it comes to licensed mental health professionals, but it doesn't really matter because there's no one who can say anything about her because she's not in her field. So I don't consider Dr. Bryant to be in the psychology field. I consider her to be in the coaching field.
She just happens to have a degree in psychology.
She has a degree in psychology, but I have 4 degrees in psychology.
Welcome to another episode of The Ladies Table. I'm your host, Jeff St. James, and I'm going to introduce our ladies for this distinguished panel. I will start with Miss Anita Stylmeyer from Better Love Movement. Welcome, madam. Then we have Maggie, the substitute teacher, as well. Welcome. Then we have Crimson Cure. Welcome as well. And then last but not least, our special guest for this particular panel, we got Dee Dee herself. Welcome in the building, man. Welcome back.
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Dee Dee has been a great friend of mine, and she's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, listening to her, speaking with her, and she's been very, very helpful from a woman's standpoint. And I just want to give shout out to all the beautiful, amazing ladies on this panel. And to be able to react to this conversation and reviews and hear the different women's perspective. So no one can say, oh, you're woman bullying, online bullying, or misogynistic, or whatever the case may be. No, you're hearing women speak. You're hearing women's souls speak as it pertains to this, because it goes back to what I said earlier. When do you hold someone accountable for the things that they do and say, including behavior?
All right, y'all. So we had about 8 minutes of intro video. So more than enough directions of where everybody wants to go. But if everybody that's currently watching, if you can do a favor for me, make sure that you subscribe to every person that you're watching currently on the screen. Make sure you're following everybody. And make sure that you don't hesitate to hit that super chat button if you have any particular questions or comments, or if you just want to support these type of panels. Anybody can just hop out if you want to. What y'all think? What y'all think about Shy?
She's a scammer. She's a scammer.
Okay. Go ahead, start it off.
She was busted in a lie, and now her credibility is shot. Nobody believes what she's saying from this point on. I think she's going.
Thank you. I know a race hustler when I see one. Just like a lot of these fake preachers up here, taking people's money, not helping the people. There's people, listen, all right. When I got counseling, those know about my time in the wilderness in 2019. I went and I got counseling. I did my research. Okay? And the place, and shout out to Genesis Counseling out there in San Bernardino. Amazing staff, amazing people. It didn't dawn on me where everything was headed. Sometimes the Most High can lead you in a situation, lead you to a place, and you don't really know where you're being led to. You're just trusting Him. You're not relying on spiritual healing. No, you're getting it done. You're confronting your past head on, because there are some things going on within your past that causes you to behave as an adult and move as an adult the way you move. And it needs to be addressed. In Cheyenne Bryant's case, there's some things going on. You can look at her and see her pain on her face. I know some individuals that if you look close enough, you can see their pain on their face. Some try to cover it up with makeup. Especially, you see it more when individuals be taking selfies of themselves. That's the whole thing now. You know, that's selfie. Hey, everybody, I'm at the steakhouse. Look at me. But at the end of the day, you're still alone. You're still dealing with the same problems. See, you between a pimp and a hard place when it comes to your love life and your social life, because you ain't dealt with your past. There's some things that took place in your childhood past that you've never confronted, that you've never dealt with. A large number of individuals have, unresolved childhood issues. I'm going to just put it out there, simple and plain. They do. And some individuals choose to mask it rather than deal with it. But on the fly, wonder why, when it comes to their love life and their social life, they past show up. And I'm not trying to address anybody or get on nobody, but we all adults, right? You said keep it real, right? You said keep it 100. I'm going to raise the bar. I'm going to keep it 1,000,000 with you. If you know you have things going on, you need to deal with that. Because there's other individuals out there that see through you. And it's like, yeah, that one.
Don't have a hard time convincing people to believe her rhetoric because she was busted in a lie. When she, first people, and mind you, people been saying that that she's not a doctor and that she doesn't have these credentials, but now it's all coming to the light, to the forefront. So I think she was just busted in a lie, and she's, backtracking and bobbing and weaving around it. But it's clear something is not right. Something doesn't add up and people can see it. And that's her problem, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Nita and Crimson, what about y'all?
I think she's going down with the ship. I don't think she's probably ever going to admit to her lie. I think she's going to go down with the ship. And
that is so true, because you have, excuse me, you have some individuals, they rather take the lie, or if they've done something wrong, like in my case, those that know me and follow me know I give examples. What I went through in 2019, instead of the individual admitting what they've done that was wrong and sit down and talk about it like an adult, as long as they don't say nothing, it smooths over. As long as they continue to ignore it, it doesn't get talked about. You know what you did was wrong, but you keep it to yourself. You take it to the grave with you. You have a large number of individuals that do that. They do. It has nothing to do with closure. No, you know you did wrong. The adult way of handling things, the adult way to go about it would be to sit down. Hey, this is what I did was wrong. I was wrong for how I did what I did. I was wrong for how I said what I said. And you didn't deserve it. I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? That's the adult approach. But again, when you're dealing with an individual that's a narcissist, it doesn't quite go that well, so we say. But you have individuals, and I'm glad she highlighted that. You have some individuals that will take their wrong to the grave rather than say, hey, let's address it. Let me apologize. Whatever I can do to fix it and make it right, make it right. Let's continue to feast.
And I'm going to be honest with you all. I don't know if this is going to hurt her credibility in our community, because there are a lot of people in our community that they want their ears tickled. They want to be told a lie. So I don't know. I mean, we've seen worse people bounce back from their scandals. So I'm predicting that she is, in fact, going to bounce back from this, and people are going to continue to platform her and continue to live.
Just like Princilla. When Princilla came out, Princilla was gunning for men. I'm like, just gunning for them. You know, throwing them under the bus. You know, it's like fire bun lit. It wasn't until she got exposed. And she got exposed, she had to backtrack and change her whole brand around. And the moment she changed her brand around, what happened? See, people know who to target. Race hustlers know who to target. Broke, broken, bitter, angry, hurt. Those types of audience, a certain individual will pander to them. Let it be something positive. Let a woman of good character, of good value, make a video talking about or sharing the good things that she does for her husband or that her husband does for her, and watch the backlash she get. And watch how many nasty comments, disrespectful, hateful comments that woman would get. And all that woman was doing was sharing the good things that she loves to do for her husband or that her husband has done for her. But see, it goes back to feminism. It goes back to large number of women started following something that they had no business following. You've been lied to. You've been sold a lie. So all of these things we're speaking now, we're putting out on the table and we talk about it. Let's continue.
Listen and continue to have their ears tickled by her, unfortunately.
What about you, Crimson, and then Maggie?
She a little peanut-headed narc that got caught in her lie, and now she not gonna come up off of it. And no, I am not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I am not qualified to diagnose nobody, but I've seen enough people to know what I think I know. So, therefore, she got busted in her lie. She gonna keep on lying on top of the lie, on top of the lie, because how can she not lie now? She doesn't have the integrity, the accountability, nor the self-reflection in order to, nor the humility that she would need in order to drop down and come clean into the public and say, I just wanted to be a talking head on a podcast, y'all. And I wanted to do coaching, which ain't no shame in coaching.
All she is a life coach. That's it. Me personally, I'm not a therapist. I'm not licensed in that field. I respect those that are licensed in that field. I respect those for doing what they do. Listen, I share my testimony. That's it. I share my advice. That's it. I come from a place, okay? I've been married for 14 months. The person I was married to single-handedly destroyed a marriage until this day when I take responsibility. Fine, cool. But in the process of going through the wilderness, I was able to face my past. I was able to face my fears. I was able to peel back the layers and confront it. I didn't have to be rude. I didn't have to be disrespectful. I knew what had to be done. My change started in 2015 when I almost lost my life in that car accident. And my Suburban flipped 4 times on the freeway before hitting the center divider at 2 a.m. Do we really need to have a conversation? And Elohim had to sit me down. A good man's work is never done. I'm not bitter, I'm better. So therefore, I make a podcast that's geared towards men. Why not create a safe space, a safe place where men can come vent and men can come share and men can come encourage other men? When you share your testimonies, you don't never know through your testimony, you could be helping somebody else. Because that other person can hear your testimony and can take bits and pieces and apply it to their situation to give them hope, to make them better. Do I welcome women? Yes, I do. Because ladies, you want to listen to a man talk? Here it is. Not a fool, not a simp. I'm talking about a masculine man. It's not about degrading anyone. I don't do that. I don't disrespect anyone. But I hold you accountable. And we have an adult conversation. Kings come to the table with problems, but leave with solutions.
Coach. Okay. There's no shame in that. If you don't have licensure, if you don't have degrees, if you don't have this, that, and the third, all you have to do is not lie and say that you have them. That's all you got to do. Nobody told her to get up here and tell this little sacrificial lie that she sacrificed to the community. Nobody told her to do that. And now she looking crazy because the book sales done gone down. Nobody want to hear that foolishness. I'm with you to a certain degree, Miss Anita, by saying that for a demographic of our community, it's not going to matter one way or another. That's usually the hyenas that want to listen to what she have to say anyway. But folks that have sense, whenever she come around, it's going to be taken as playtime, whatever she's saying. She no longer has the so-called authority, which was questionable anyway. I think we was just trying to not challenge her right off the bat. And I actually don't know what sparked.
I'm going to tell you what sparked it. When she went on Nick Cannon's show and the way she spoke to Nick Cannon. Then my man Cam Newton's show, the way she spoke to him. Club Shay Shay, the way she spoke to him. Oh, Nelly. But when she arrived at Paul Pierce's show, she tried it, but he called it out. Shout out to my man Paul Pierce, because he's from Inglewood. I'm from Long Beach, so I know who Paul Pierce is. So he called it out. You see, he challenged her. And then you saw the blinking of the eyes constantly, the body language, the facial micros, the fumbling of the words. Because when she's backed into a corner, that's what she does. But yeah, you have all this advice for everybody else. But when it comes to you, you can't take it. That's just like my ex. Just like my ex-wife. Got all this advice for everybody else. But soon, as an individual got advice for you or holds you accountable, can't take it. You feel some type of way.
This go round of people being more persistent in like, no. Where's your degree at? Like, we gonna press you about that for real. I don't know what sparked that. So if somebody knows, maybe they'll say so. But that's what I gotta say for now.
Listen, I'm so happy you brought that point up, because I'm going to throw out one of the potential things that I think initially sparked how this really grew to what it was. There was always a small segment of people who kind of questioned or just doubted her background to some. There were definitely, Corey Holcomb was one of the earlier people for sure. I think that when Cheyenne was primarily talking to and at men about what they're doing wrong and how they're fumbling and what their issues are, overwhelmingly her audience was satisfied with that. They didn't need anything else. And forgive me for the content creator, I forgot her name, that I found this, I think she posted this today. When she posted this, she says, "So here comes Dr. Bryant flying onto social media like Professor X with a mic."
We got some technical difficulties. Let me fast forward a little
Body
bit.
checked licenses.
Okay, there we go.
Nobody cared where the doctorate came from. Then it said, but the second she lightly critiqued Black women at the end of last year, all of a sudden, what did it say? The FBI task force assembled, pull the records, call the registrar, and
as long as she was checking men, everything was fine. Everything was cool. The moment she started checking women, that's when all hell broke loose, in parentheses. And that's what I highlighted before. Check my previous videos. Go to my channel, The King's Table. Watch some of the videos that I've done, okay, with Cheyenne Bryant. As long as she was checking men, it was cool. But the moment she started checking modern women, it became a problem. And I've also highlighted on social media, especially TikTok and Instagram, all you see is a large number. You see more Black women saying disrespectful things towards Black men than any other race. Now, any other race, they ain't saying disrespectful things to their men on the internet, on TikTok. Trust me, you go on TikTok, what do you see? I got receipts. And you wonder why. Men clapping back. You wonder why different men of different races huddling up, having conversations at the table, having conversations on the sideline, having conversations in the end zone, having conversations in the locker room. Enough is enough. But we know the origin of all of this. Oh, it's division. What type of agenda are you on?
Enhance the image. What I'm basically going to argue is when all the way up until she made that comment, when she stated that right now, she believes that in the dating market, women are more delusional than men. That was the shift. That was, in my mind, that was the shift. And that was the moment when a bunch of people that was on her team riding with it, they never called her pick me. They never said she was unprofessional. They never disagreed with her talking points. They co-signed on everything. And the moment she said one thing, which obviously everybody knows her primary base is Black women. So when Black women heard her say, in essence, a lot of them are the ones that are delusional right now. Now all of a sudden the inquiry in her background started to matter. Now I'm going to argue, y'all, and I'm going to throw this out here. Anita, you kind of threw it out there and said you don't think that this is probably going to hurt her in the macro, in terms of like overwhelmingly where she gets most of her support from. I kind of agree with you unless something happens. And when I say that, I mean, unless somebody files like a class action lawsuit, or someone filed some type of suit of some kind based on how she presented herself versus the lack of evidence to support what she's claiming, there is the potential for former clients, former people.
It's going to hurt her credibility, but she can bounce back. Her brand is tarnished. She can still continue to use the name doctor because she bought it. Okay? She paid for the name. She didn't earn it. Okay? So therefore, her paying for the name, the domain, et cetera, you paying for something to use that you didn't earn. So what she would have to do is she would have to change up her whole game plan. Don't tell people what you was doing for the past 18 years, and then you slipped up and said 17 years like a person wasn't going to pay attention. Don't do all of that. Now, if you would have came out and said you were a life coach, okay, that's different. But you straight came out and said you a psychologist, you're licensed, etc. You went to this school, you have this degree, you specializing in this, also marriage therapy, counseling, etc. Tapping into all of these things that an individual that has the right credentials would say, no. And then it took for individuals to do research on you. The moment they begin to do research on you, man, the things that were discovered upon research, and you started getting backlash, and you didn't like it. You felt some type of way. Because every time that you went on someone's podcast and it was brought up, the batting of the eyes, fumbling of your words, your facial micros, your body language, it was triggering for you. Like people wasn't going to take the time to research. But you basically single-handedly destroyed your brand. So can you bounce back from this? Yes, you can. But you would have to do what Priscilla did. You would have to change your whole game around. Or are you going to lose audience, the broken, the hurt, the angry, the bitter, those type of audience, the modern feminist audience? You're going to lose a lot of those, but you're going to gain more, especially when you begin to hold women accountable. When you start having those conversations, holding women accountable and men accountable, hold both accountable. But for right now, you in hot water. Take your L. Suck it up. Stay in there. Soak in it. Because you did this.
People that worked with her, they could circle back. That's a possibility. But other than that, once I saw Derek Jackson's reach and size of his audience grow after his big debacle, I agree with you. I don't think the people who are already riding with her for the most part, I don't think this is going to lose a lot of them. I see it doubling down. I see people excusing it. And the initial question I want to ask y'all is, if you've had doubts about her background before, what did you notice or what did you see that made you even give questions as to the potential that you were starting to question what it is she was doing or saying? Let's start with Maggie, then Dee Dee, then Anita, then Crimson.
So to answer this question about what made me doubt her, I saw Bria's comment in the chat, I didn't even know who this lady was. I mean, for me, it was obvious that
I'm not going to play the whole video, so I'm going to play half of it, some good, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes of it, just to get a real good, deep dive, wholesome, tasteful conversation with it. But I will leave a copy of this in the description box so that you can go back and you can watch the rest of it. I mean, it is a full episode, okay? And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Let's get this word out. Let's just spread it out there. And to my people on Facebook Live, I love you. I appreciate you. To all my audience on Instagram and TikTok, I love you and appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And for those that follow me on YouTube, I love you from the bottom of my heart. I'm at 97,000 subscribers, need 3,000 more. Please, let's make this happen, baby. Let's go. 100,000. Let's go. 100K.
That she wasn't an authority that I would respect. And I'll tell you why. I think it's a huge insult to people who have actually earned the credential. Both of my parents are PhDs. We came as immigrants. It takes years off of their life. And I remember typing their dissertation. So I'm not going to dogpile on Cheyenne Bryant. She's getting everything that she deserves. But to answer your question about what made me question her, I have a lot of thoughts on this one. This is a woman who screams attention-seeking behavior. Everything about her is all eyes on me. Look at me. And I always want to be helpful, especially for the young wives and married mothers. How can we learn from this? This is a woman who wears a see-through dress to a black tie event. This is a woman who wears a gold encrusted diamond dock necklace. I don't know any PhDs that show off in that way. This is a woman who exposes herself at every opportunity. Even when she's sitting down to be interviewed, she has a little edge to it, a little innuendo.
That's true. So when you look at her, eyes don't lie. Look at the eyes. Look into her. Into me see. Thank you, Miss Ayala Van Zant. You can look at her and tell there's something wrong there. The lights are on, but nobody's home. You can look at her and tell she has daddy issues. You can also look at her and tell some trauma events took place. Some childhood, I'm paraphrasing, some childhood trauma events took place in her life. Maybe that's another reason why she doesn't date men. But this is, excuse me. But this is what I'm saying, people. We have to take, I got a homeboy. I'm going to shift a little bit. I got a homeboy. Now, those that know me know I played football. I played professional in the AFL, XFL, AFE Team USA, did my thing, right? I got a homeboy that I swear to beans, he will tell you he played football. Now, back in junior high, yeah. Older than me. Talking about he want to go into the NFL. Ain't never played no college. Never played no minor league. But he will look you in your face up and down and swear to you that he gonna play in the NFL. Even though the NFL don't have no age limit, it's common sense. That is an insult to someone like me and many of you out there that are professionals or that have retired from the sport, because we've mastered the sport. We've mastered the position. We put in the work. We put in the training. We watch the film. We know what to do at our positions. We've had mentors. I was blessed to have some amazing mentors. Okay? That's my homeboy. But he got to be real with himself. You not that guy. You probably was that guy back in high school and junior high. You're a grown-ass man. You're older than me. You're not that guy. Let it go. But in his mind, something done told him that he can do this. Just like Cheyenne Bryant. Something told herself that she was a doctor. She graduated with this degree, doctorate's degree. She can give advice from a therapist's perspective. No, you're a life coach. You're an influencer. But again, when you look into an individual, you will see things that others are not seeing.
And a little suggestive, whether it's outfit or lift up the skirt or something. I remember in the clip where she was talking about nobody knew of me until I was on Cam Newton, Nick Cannon, and these other celebrities that she listed. In my opinion, people who actually are true with their craft, whatever it is, they want results. I have never heard her talk about the marriages that she has saved. I have never heard her, and maybe this is there, but I'm talking about this is a woman who leads with attention. So if that is who you are, if you actually had these degrees, we couldn't shut you up. They would be all over the place. You're not going to be all eyes on me over here, and then I don't have to prove anything to anybody over here. So in my opinion, scammers are everywhere. Pretty privilege is real. And I don't have a problem.
I'm going to say this. Keep dancing with the devil. One day he's going to follow you home. What happens when you open up the door and you let the devil walk right on in? Your house, your place of peace. What do you think's going to happen?
Problem with her being beautiful. I always say I am happily average, but I was thinking a lot about what Miss Anita said and what Miss Crimson said a couple sessions ago. This is really about your character and about being a good woman, being an honorable woman, being a person of integrity. And my fear really is, what does this say about our community that we can't get enough of this? Lie to me. As long as it comes in a package that, whether it's male or female, we have pastors and different people who will tell you whatever you want to hear, and they're lying to us. So,
but if you go back to the word of Yah, it even says it. People will believe the lie and reject the truth. With COVID-19, they did that. That stuff wasn't real. It was nothing but a flu. They took a flu and gave it a name and threw it out there, and look how many people ran with it. Look how many people believed it. You got to mask up. Wearing a mask ain't going to save you for nothing. If something is in the air, it's going to get you. It's going to get you. Social distancing, that ain't going to solve nothing. Once again, if something is in the air that's going to get you, it's going to get you. It wasn't until people started digging in the crates, I believe it's 1918, when the swine flu came out. And this is what they had to do. Ain't nothing but history repeating itself. But again, it goes back to the word. Yahshua said, people are going to believe the lie and reject the truth. If you get William Cooper's book, Behold the Pale of the White Horse, it's everything that he put in that book is coming to pass. Well, many are unable to obtain the book. That's fine. Just go to the book of Revelations. There you go. That's why it pays to move quietly but strategically. I always move quietly and strategically. Never never let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. I work at a job where I love people watching. You learn something. You learn how people move when you people watch. And if you look close enough, you can tell those that talk about you behind your back.
So obviously she has no respect for the community, even though she says these are the people that I want to help. The fact that she would lie and double down and triple down on it, I'm gonna tell you, like Mr. President said, no man gonna have her. You have shown who you are. They will use you for your body and she will be forever alone.
I'm gonna say this real quick before we get to Dee Dee. We don't even know if there's men in the picture, Miss Maggie. If we're gonna be honest, if we're gonna keep a spade, I've never seen it. It's so much in our community where there's a noticeable pattern that the people who get into these spaces and get behind these microphones, especially the women, I don't even know if they're attracted to men.
I'm gonna say it for you. I'm gonna say it for you.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct.
She's never been attracted to men. Always women. Again, she from the same place I'm from. We all hung around each other. We all know people who know other people. Because so much trauma took place in her childhood. I'm trying to tell you. When an individual has daddy issues, number one, and you sit back, okay, and you go back to their childhood, because, listen, there's always a history behind an individual. You always have to go back to where it first started with that individual. That's why when you go to a therapist always tells you. So tell me, what was it like growing up? Hell, that same therapist asked me that when I went to go get therapy. Ex-wife said, we need to go get marriage counseling. All right. Did that. Only showed up for one intro. I did 12 sessions. But also, Elohim put several individuals specifically in front of me. Shout out to my god brother, Bishop Jarvis Hines. Shout out to my spiritual mother, Miss Frances Lakey. Do I need to continue? Individuals specifically will come see about you. And then they will tell you they were led to come see about you. But the point that I'm making is that Cheyenne Bryant is dealing with some things. And oftentimes, not just her, but individuals, period. You can tell, like, if you work at the job with them long enough, if you are around them long enough, some of your coworkers, or whatever the case may be, or some of your homeboys or homegirls or whatever, family members, whatever, if you look close enough, you can see it. Or if you just like to sit and people watch, you will see it. And you have to go back to where it began. Where did this begin? Where did this start? From your childhood. Now, the next question would be, did you receive counseling? Did you get help from those things that you went through or experienced in your childhood? No? Okay, well, guess what? That tells the reason why, as an adult, you behave the way you behave. You do what you do. You say what you say. You act how you act. You respond how you respond.
I don't even know a lot of times with their on again, off again situationships with women. I'm not one of these people that say gay people can't say anything about anything. But if that's your lifestyle, fine, that's your right. But if you also can't prove your transcripts, you can't prove your diploma, you can't prove your degree, and you can't prove your dissertation, where do we look for your qualifications in this space other than just claiming the titles and then using your aunt's wisdom?
You can't look for them because they don't have them. They never had stuff
she's saying on these platforms. Dee.
So you can't look for something that someone never had.
I think she talked too much, to be honest with you. She talked too much. She talked too fast. She want to sound so convincing. You know, I think when somebody, for me, y'all, just for me, just my little opinion, when you talk too much, too fast, and you always trying to convince somebody and trying to make people think you're always right, that was a turn off for me, for her.
Hey, to all my homeboys and homegirls, right? They grew up in the hood. How many times have we came across someone like that? Help me out. Leave a comment. How many times have we came across somebody with that fast, slick talking? They want to be heard. Using all these big fancy words. Like they know what they talking about and they don't. Hell, they know they don't know what the hell they talking about. But they don't want you to know that they don't know what they're talking about.
She sounds like she knows it all. I didn't know nothing about her until the Cam Newton and all of these interviews as well. I didn't know nothing about her. But then when I, heard her speak, there was some things in there that I did agree with her on some level. But then there's some other stuff when she started talking about marriages and stuff like that. That's where I kind of like backed away, because I'm like, and then when they started saying she's not married, she doesn't have any children. How are you an expert on that? And I think a lot of times people want to use that. Now, if you have the degrees and you have the credentials and this is what you're trained in, listen, I'm all ears. And I listen to people, you don't have to have a degree for me to hear what you're saying. It's just if you pay attention to how people say stuff.
It's experience. Your experience. Okay? Just like in football. I can sit up here and talk for days about football because I played it. Mastered it. So I have a lot to say when it comes to football. When it comes to coaching, I can coach the sport of football. When it comes to training, personal training, I can train a person because I've done it. It's about the experience and your ability to share.
How they try to, everything is I don't know, it's just, she gave me a weird vibe from the beginning, and I didn't know anything about her, but I don't know, it's just the way she comes across. It didn't seem like therapist or doctor to me either. It really just seemed like a chick who just, was a grifter. She really did just sound like somebody who just trying to get money. That's all I'm gonna say. It really did just sound like she just trying to get money off people. That's how she comes across, in my opinion. That's it. I don't know. She didn't sit right with me. And then when the more I listened to her, she started contradicting herself and she's going back and forth. It's just a lot going on with Cheyenne Bryant, And once again, it's not to harp on her or whatever, because I know, people make mistakes. Everybody don't know it all. And that's okay. But I just think to lie about your credentials in this way in this type of field is very dangerous. I don't think that people should take it lightly. I think you should really, this is a big deal. I don't think you should be going around portraying yourself allegedly as a doctor when that's not what you really are. So I just think we should take it more seriously than some people are taking it. Some people are just, well, if she's not a doctor, so what? What you mean, so what? And somebody did mention that there might be some lawsuits coming forth or whatever if she's, for this. I don't know. I guess we'll just see. So that's just my take on it.
Anita and then Crimson, when did you ever, if you ever did, wonder about her? What did you start to notice that made you think this?
I noticed that depending on the podcast that she's on, like she's a chameleon. She's going to switch up. She's going to change up. And the one thing that I find incredibly distasteful, everybody knows this about me, so this is not a secret, but women who use profanity. Women who use profanity is incredibly distasteful to me. I was told by my grandfather many years ago that people who use profanity is a weak mind trying to express itself. And so if you are educated, especially to the point of having a doctorate degree, I would think that there are other words that you could use other than saying the F word. That's the part that I didn't understand. And then if she's on a Christian podcast, now she's going to talk about God. Now she's going to talk about only God can hold her accountable. That's the only person that she.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you 110%. There's a way you have to carry yourself. Like I always, I share with the athletes, that's coming up and so forth, even some that are in the NFL right now, currently, because I do executive protection. There's a way you have to carry yourself so that you don't bring smoke to you. You don't bring mess to you. Okay? It's one way when you on the field, but when you are off the field, the eyes are still on you. Folk are watching you. So it's up to you to how you conduct yourself so you don't bring smoke to you. Some of these athletes, I'm sitting back and I'm scratching my head because I'm looking at the mess that they're getting into. I'm looking at how they opening the door and allowing smoke to come in. It's not supposed to be that way. So, integrity is everything. Your character is everything. How you say what you say, how you move, what you do, how you live. Because you don't never know who's watching you.
Owes anything. She has always been a chameleon. So depending on whose platform she's on, she switches up, she changes up. And so her message is not aligned, and her personal life and her professional life is not aligned. That's the first sign that something is off. That's just like me as a therapist. I'm telling people to do one thing and I'm going home and smoking crack, or I'm getting arrested, getting a DUI. That don't line up.
Went straight to crack.
That don't line up. So that's when I noticed something's off. What she's telling people or how she's presenting it's not the same as her personal life. So
and then Crimson, come on now.
After Crimson gives her take, we're gonna go ahead and end for now. And I will put a description of this. I'll put the rest of a copy of this in the description. Choking my words here. I'm just overwhelmed, and it feels good to hear these ladies share and speak and just having the right things to say at the right time regarding this.
I knew she was a bird from jump. Was she a bird? She was just
after the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct.
I knew she was a bird. The very first time I laid eyes on her, oh, that's a bird. And she just want to be talking. She just want to be talking in front of folks. It progressed.
That's a bird that you take to the house and wear out and let them chirp on.
Because she want to talk about relationships, but you ain't in a relationship. Boop, boop, boop. You done in my book anyway with that. Anytime you trying to talk about some type of relationship that you have never experienced in your life, what do you know about being married or about what men want? You 49 years old and you sitting here ain't never been caught.
That's like my homeboy talking about playing professional football, but he ain't never played college. He ain't never played a first down. But he'll have you thinking he ready. But when you look at his movements, damn.
Cuffed by a man in no real way. Talking about what men, she's psychologizing everybody. Girl, I was done with that. But I was never really rocking with her to begin with because, I mean, like Miss Maggie said, she wasn't nobody I was trying to look up to. I just knew she was a bird. Now, my question about her, whether or not she may have been an educated bird, because there are educated birds, but she didn't carry herself like an educated bird. See, birds that went to school like to put on the facade of class. Okay? When she showed up half naked and kept on showing up in these different places naked, I said, oh, she not even an educated bird. This a GED bird right here at best. I said, oh no, she done got these little, these little certificates she done printed off through pages, these little Microsoft documents, these DocX documents she done printed out. And then, she all at Staples making copies and all that kind of stuff. Girl, don't you know we could get them little papers at Staples with the little thing that looked like a little award or something like that, like they said, she got her perfect attendance up there, girl. If you don't get up out of here. I said,
hey, and on that note, once again, shout out to the whole panel and shout out to everyone. Go on ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Go to their channel, subscribe to their channel. This was an amazing conversation. I'm so thankful and grateful that I was able to do that with y'all today on this Sunday. And yeah, go ahead and be the best version of yourself for people to see. Take that with you and go be great. One.